Okay, this is what the Bronco replaced. This is what I was doing all my exploring in. It was a two-wheel drive Dodge 1500. And I did a lot of exploring, got into a lot of bad places, got in a lot of fun places, and recovered a bunch of four-wheel drive vehicles. Now, when you drive past a Jeep Wrangler that's got all four wheels buried in the sand, and you drive past them in a two-wheel drive pickup truck, that's pretty embarrassing. When the two-wheel drive vehicle pulls you out, that's a lot more embarrassing. But I'll explain what happened. Guy was new, first vehicle he's ever owned, it was four-wheel drive. Took it out, got it in the sand wash. He did have good tires on it, and they were all inflated up to maximum pressure, 70 pounds. And he got in the sand wash, and he dug the back end in. Got a little heavy on the throttle, and down it went. Well, I'm stuck. So he drops it into four-wheel drive. Floors the gas. He's got an anchor holding him down in the back where he's buried to the axle, and he promptly buried it to the front. So I show up, my two-wheel drive just drove right through the wash. I was aired down to 15 pounds on the tires. Didn't have a bit of problem. Got in front of him, pulled out my Yankum tow strap, got my shovel out, dug out around all four tires to make a little ramp, and one tug and popped him up on top of the ground, and away he went. He was able to go. Taught him about deflating your tires, getting an air compressor, and the need to always carry a recovery rope. Because if I would not have had one, I couldn't have helped him. So that's why you should always carry one with you. I got into that situation once in my Jeep Cherokee. I was up in the mountains checking out this really interesting tower I'm going to get back to someday. And I had a fuel pump go out. Well, I got AAA towing. The only thing is, I've got to be at the pavement. I had 5 or 6 people up there with me, playing around in the hills, and not a single one of us, including me, had a tow strap. We used motorcycle tie downs, pieces of old rope, you name it, and it broke several times, and we'd tie something different. But they got me about 5 miles back to the pavement, and I got towed home. I want to thank all those people for the blessing that they gave me that day. So, moving on. It's a beautiful day today, if the wind would only stop. Oh, this is my home base right now. And that's my workshop. My daughter and husband share half the workshop. I have the other half. Okay, my vehicle. Let me back up a little bit. This is the back end of it. You see a little flying horse up there on the window and the license plate. Back in the about 1976, 75, 76, this thing got named the Pegasus. What's big and green and can do 145 miles an hour. That was this. It was a race vehicle, support vehicle. I had some friends that did off-road racing, and this was a support vehicle. So I wanted to be able to travel quickly if I had to haul parts to them. and I want something fun to drive. Scared of many riders with me, but that's okay. I had fun. So, years went by. I went from having a 4-speed road course transmission and an 800 horsepower motor down to a more drivable 400 horsepower motor, and then I changed to an NP435 rock crawler transmission, and it's reverted back. It's still fast. It'll still do about 130 or better. I'm not sure what the top end is, but I just put a brand new 500 horsepower motor in it. Got it back on the road. But today we're going to more focus on what I carry every day when I go out in the wilderness. So on the back rack on the outside, if you notice, the spare tire's not on there. And that's because big tires try to pull the back corners of the fenders off when you use this style of rack. So until I get a bumper frame mounted back tire rack, it'll have to remain this way. Got a high lift jack. I know there's a lot of controversy about this good old high lift jack. And guys, I would never go out exploring in the wilderness without one. And one of the things I always hear is, if you get stuck, somebody will come get you. Maybe, maybe not. Count the clock backwards several years, back in the 70s. There wasn't that many four-wheel drives out there that would come out and do anything. People wasn't really heavily into it. So if you was out in the middle of nowhere, which I am a lot, and you got stuck, you were on your own to get out. Everybody thinks, oh, it's high lift jack. That's jack it up to change tire. Well, not really. Yeah, I do. I jack this up to change tires with it. Or I use a bottle jack when I have one on me. But you can take that high lift jack and you can go to the back end here and you can stick it under that trailer hitch area and you can jack it up all the way up to the very tip top. Get next to your vehicle on the side, give it a good shove, and it falls over. Well, let's say that you was on a trail and it was washed out on one side and you dropped in there and you're stuck. Well, you go to the back end, you jack it up, you give it a shove, get it back on solid ground, go to the front end, jack it up, give it a shove, get it back on solid ground. You may want to do it 2 or 3 times to make sure you're just not on the edge, but every time you jack it up and give it a shove, you move it about a foot sideways. And the next thing you know, you're no longer in the ditch. And put it away, and off you go. You go over a crest of a hill and get it high centered. Well, you jack it up, give it a forward or backward shove for the jack tipped away from the body of the vehicle, and boom, you're no longer high centered. So it's got a lot of uses. It can be used like a winch to pull. You can hook tow straps and chains to it and pull sideways, backwards, forward, whatever you need to do. It's a very versatile tool. That's why I'd never go without one. Okay, I'm going to open up the back end on this lift gate and we'll go over a few other things. Oh, the ramps. Never did carry those for years and years and years. When I got out on the 2-wheel drive with the pickup truck, I always carried them. And the reason being is I'm going to use the word stuck, but that's not really the case. I would get the truck stuck on the average of 2 to 3 times a day. dig out a little bit, throw the ramps under, two-wheel drive, and away you go. They work good. These also work very good if you're in snow to help you out, even with a four-wheel drive, so I still carry them. They're great to have. Okay, like I said, I have my high lift jack there. It's mounted on that bracket. Next to it, I have a shovel, long-handled shovel. I like a full-handled shovel. They're easier to dig, and you can reach under the vehicle better if you need to. I have what's called a Pulaski. It's got an axe on one end and a grubbing hoe on the other end. Great for heavy digging. Got a 4-way spanner wrench for the lug nuts. And just a little trick of the off-roader trade that we do and other people do and racing vehicle people do a lot of times with these is, if you notice my tool is green, and then you look here, the one end of it is purple. Well, green and purple is my colors, but the reason that's marked, the purple one is the one that fits the lug nuts. So when you grab it, you don't have to go, oh, nope, not this one. Oh, not this one. You got 1 out of 4 is going to fit. Why not know which one that is and just start with it? Works really good. Okay, my recovery boards are screwed on. But in this time of year and place, the way things are, you have to open this up, which just when it's closed is locked. And then you can get to a lock here to get to your recovery boards, and it's got a lock on it. You open it up, take the lock off, there's your wrench where you can get to them. That way you don't have to dig through the toolbox to get a wrench to do your recovery boards. So now I'm going to go ahead and move to the inside, and we have to open up the back end and get the doors open, and we'll start going over what I carry in there. Okay, we're going to start with the right hand side. I've got an Igloo water cooler, 5 gallons. I think it's 5, might be 2.5, but I thought it was a 5, that I always carry full of water. Next to that, I have a jump box. Battery goes dead, I can jump it. On top there is my, excuse the tangled mess, it's my 4-hose connection for airing down and airing up my tires. I know, put it away neat when you're done with it. Well, when I aired my tires down yesterday afternoon, I had about a 35-mile-an-hour wind and a light rain. So as soon as I got them aired down, I just wrapped it up and stuffed it in the back of the car. I wanted to get out of that bad weather. So we got that. Also, I know this is a mess. I don't need it, but I also carry a 25-foot air hose to extend this. This plugs into my onboard air compressor, which is mounted under the front seat. the dual cylinder ARB compressor. Right here on the front corner is where the air chuck is. Now eventually I'm going to put an air tank underneath, mounted to the frame, and plumb that into it to make it a little quicker, but not right now. But the air hose, you say, why do you need it? This will plug right directly in with no problems. But the air hose will get me to the very center front of the vehicle where I drape the gauge and controls over the front, do all the tires, air everything up. But if I have another vehicle that I've got to stop and air up, I can do that too. I can air up the guy next to me, behind me, in front of me, whatever. Break down on the side of the road. I also carry a single air chuck and an extra gauge. They're in the glove box, that if I come upon somebody who's just got a low tire or a flat tire, we can air them up and get them back on the road. I'm going to unload a few things and we'll go over it as I do. Okay, got that fixed. So it's a nice light. You can use this when you're camping. Gives you lots of light. Good for roadside repairs. Not only do I do my exploring, but I also do a lot of recovery work. So if you got a dead battery, I can start you. If you're stuck, I can pull you out. If I got to tow you out of the backcountry where you can get a tow truck, I can do that. Now we get into some other things that we have. Tire plug kit. Why change the tire? We can just take the nail or screw out and put a plug in it. What I will be adding probably this month will be a sidewall repair kit. I've heard a lot of good things about them. You rip a hole in the sidewall of your tire, you can patch it until you can get the tire replaced. It'll get you out. So that's always handy. Oh, I also carry in the glove box a tire gauge. And believe it or not, it's not to check my air pressure in my tires. But the Moreflate and a lot of your other ones you buy have this really, really cool digital pressure gauge that run on two nice little batteries. Well, when you pull your kit out and you hook it all up and you start airing up your tires and you find that your pressure gauge doesn't work because the batteries are dead, it's a little inconvenient. But what a lot of people don't understand is that all you got to do is disconnect your hose, shut the valve off as you're airing up when you think you're about right, or over air for a little bit. And one of those tire gauges that just push down on the gauge will push down against here and give you an accurate air reading, just like hooking it up to your tires. So you have a gauge so you know where to air your tires up. If I have to do this, what I'll do is I'll bring it up to where it looks good, I'll check it, and then I'll bring it up about 5 pounds or so above where I need by eyeball, and then just disconnect the hose, shut the compressor off, and then deflate it down to the proper inflation that I want. So that works good. Now our next item is we get into is, what if I get out there and I break down in the middle of the evening and I'm in a real complicated place to get in and out of, and I call my son-in-law and daughter, and they bring out their four-wheel drive vehicle to come get me. So we're talking maybe a 4-hour drive to get to where I'm at. It's going to be the middle of the night. Well, I'm going to be sitting there for a long time in the late night. In the wintertime, it's going to be cold. So I have 2 sleeping bags, one for me and one for my passenger. If I have people in the back seat, which I pretty much won't know that I won't probably do, we'll have 4 sleeping bags. Back when my 2 daughters used to go out with me, we always had 4 sleeping bags in this vehicle. You can sit in the seat with your sleeping bag on and stay warm overnight. A lot of people laugh about that, but I don't know if you've ever spent a freezing cold night out in your vehicle. It's very uncomfortable. If you can spend the freezing night out there in a warm sleeping bag, well, that's a good thing. So I have that. I have a jet boil with a fuel canister. Nothing like a nice hot cup of coffee or a ramen noodle soup for lunch or dinner. If you break down and you need to have dinner, you can do a noodle lunch, noodle dinner. There's 2 of us in the vehicle. I always have 2 noodles, packets of noodles. I have a food bag up front. I'm a diabetic, so I can become up if I miss a couple of meals. I can get low blood sugar really quick, and when that happens, I don't have good judgment. That way I have some crackers, some applesauce in little squeeze tubes, miscellaneous stuff. We take the ramen noodles. We have some little flat packets of tuna and salmon. We have food. If we have to spend the night, we have dinner. If you eat before you go to bed, you'll sleep much warmer. I also at all times carry a floppy hat. And this one has a neck guard. Yeah, it's dirty. It's my old work hat. Gloves. I always have at least 2 or 3 pairs of gloves in the truck. I do have a saw, a folding saw. It's a Silky Big Boy 2000 360. And I'm here to tell you, I owned a landscaping business and we did a lot of tree trimming. Guys, this saw is very, very sharp. Now, I had a friend of mine drop the saw while he was cutting a branch, and it hit him in the leg. It fell from the tree, handheld level, down and caught him on the top of the leg. And he had to go to get stitches. That's how bad it cut him. This thing is like a razor blade with teeth. Very good saw. Need to cut up some firewood. Need to cut some branches off a tree that had fell and blocked your trail a little bit. Works like a champ. If I'm going to go heavy up into the woods, far back, I'll bring a small chainsaw with me also. I got rope. Got about 150 feet of small diameter rope. That's enough to hold me. If we need to tie something off, we need to rappel down a cliff, whatever we need, we've got it. So rope's handy. You can barely see it stuck in that back corner. I have a DeWalt 3/4 inch or 1/2 inch impact wrench with the socket on it for my sockets, my size for my wheels. Yeah, I carry a 4-way, but I'm lazy. I'm old, I'm getting lazy in my life. Nothing better than just zoom, 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 and you've got all your lug nuts off. Also carry a good first aid kit. Never leave home without one. And as soon as you get a first aid kit and you put it in your vehicle, you can get it at Walmart. You can get it in a lot of different locations. It's a little packet. It's called blood stop powder. Learned about that when I was doing tree trimming, because in your tree harness in the back there's a first aid kit, and it always has a blood stop powder packet in there and a large tie-on dressing. If you're bleeding, it'll stop it right now. You tear the packet open, dump it in, and the bleeding is stopped. And then you can, secure whatever you need to do on it. So in a big drastic emergency, it's nice to have. Now you always look at towing somebody out. You look at yourself and you got your anchor for the towing. What about their vehicle? So I carry a receiver hitch anchor extra, so I can hook it into their vehicle. A lot of your modern off-road vehicles have towing eyes on them. You don't want to stick your soft shackle through those holes because they're sharp and they'll ruin it. Those are made to be used with shackles. So I carry a couple of extra shackles. I've got 2 on the front of my tow bumper. And I've gotten some controversy over this. This is a chain like they use on tow trucks with the small hooks, the short ones. And people ask me why I use that. That's been a lifesaver. I towed out. Well, I'm just going to bring the camera up. Look beyond my house, my property. There's a road over there. That's a dirt road. It gets real muddy. I towed out a box truck over there. And he had turned off the main paved road onto that dirt road, got over too far to the right, got in the field, and proceeded to bury the truck all the way down to the axle. Yes, I could have used a soft shackle in my tow rope, but I needed to get a good attachment point to that truck frame. It had one of these lifts on the back, furniture lift. It was a furniture truck, so it had the hydraulic lift. You don't want to hook onto that and start yanking on that because you'll bend something and damage it. You want to always go right directly to the frame. So I was able to fish my chains through there, got directly up into the frame rails, hooked into 2 anchor points in the frame, and then we could come out, we hooked my tow strap to that, or my yankum rope to that, using a soft shackle, and we was able to pull him out. No problem. It all works. It's just a matter of picking the right tool for the right job. So whether you're going to be pulling somebody else out or pulling yourself out, getting pulled out, it's good to have the right stuff. Also, like I tell people in the start of this video, everybody should carry a yankum strap of some sort. Even if it's just a cheap one, you got a small Jeep, small 4x4 vehicle, a couple of soft shackles, and a rope, a tow rope like that. If you don't have a lot of money, you don't go out too much, you want one, because a lot of people are willing to help you, but a lot of people don't have the stuff that you need to get helped. So if you have a rope, you're in business. If you got your ramps, you're in business. You can get yourself out. Now we're going to go to the controversial Trailmater tow truck, where they talk about, and Mass Off-Road, they don't believe in a lot of these things, but they go, if you can get out using those, you're not stuck. Well, guess what? They are 100% right. If you can dig out around your tires, stick those under there and drive out, you're not stuck. You're just inconvenienced. It's just a matter of, I get inconvenienced a lot when I'm out four-wheel drive in a two-wheel drive truck. So they are right. You're not really stuck if you can get out with those. Now, this has got a Curry Brothers 35 splined rear axle system in it. Detroit locker. Got a Detroit locker in the front. Don't have heavy axles there next. It's all going to get upgraded. If I get this thing stuck, people, it's stuck. So I'm going to need all the help I can get. Don't have a winch yet. That's coming next. But there's no inconvenient in this vocabulary of this vehicle. You're either stuck or you're not stuck. This is one of those four-wheel drive vehicles that, I keep referring to it as you point and drive. My best friend, we took her little yellow Jeep out. We took it into Death Valley, and we took it to some really off-road areas. Went up into Saline Valley, came across Lippincott Grade, had some big washouts. I brought my ramps with me. I brought my tow rope with me when we took her out. Once we got out in there, we never seen another vehicle for the whole trip. When you're in Saline Valley, you're on your own. Oh, no phone service. Most of Death Valley, you have no phone service out there. So you're on your own. So I carry a Spot Rescue. It's a satellite unit. I like it. It's very good. And you can use it and send messages via the satellite system and send a text message. So if I break down in the middle of nowhere, I can send my daughter and son-in-law a text message saying, hey, I'm out on such and such road, out in the middle of nowhere again, and I'm broke down, or I'm stuck, and I need some help. And they get the message. They can send me a text message back. Okay, be on my way in a half hour. See you this evening. And we're in good shape. I consider that important. Because if I was going to sit out there and wait for somebody, I could be sitting out there for a week. Oh, one other little item. I got this at Joann's Fabric. That's ripstop nylon. That's a big piece of it. I think it's like 6 foot by 6 foot, somewhere in there. And if you notice the color, it's bright pink. Bright pink. If I break down and I've got to have search and rescue come get me, That's another thing. I got it on the spot. I can push one button and I'll have search and rescue coming. If I need them to find me, I can unfold that, spread it out next to my vehicle, put it over the top of my vehicle. It'll give me shade in the summer if I need it. It's bright, makes my vehicle easier to spot. This old paint job and this color really kind of blends in the desert. Black, purple, a little bit of white. This green. Story behind this green, when I bought this rig, this was the last one they had on the lot. I didn't get a choice. I wanted a 74, not a 75, and this was the last 74 they had on the lot. So I got stuck with this color. The reason I didn't want a 75, it had tons of smog and catalytic converters. Something I did not want. So, this color it is. This color is the color it's going to be. This is still the original paint job. It's 1974. It's a lot of fun. So that pretty well covers everything I got back here. Just remember, you're number one. Get yourself there and get yourself back home. Number two is anybody you can help that's on the side of the road, out in the middle of nowhere. People on the side of the road, I always tell people to react with caution. You're driving down Highway 95 in Nevada, in the middle of nowhere, between nowhere and nowhere further away, and you see a young lady stuck on the side of the road, her hood up. Yeah, you never know. There could be a person, a couple of people standing over, hidden behind a bush somewhere, or on the far side of the car that you can't see them, just waiting for you to stop or you get robbed. That's happened out in the middle of nowhere out there a few times. Always be safe. I'm not an advocate of carrying weapons, but if you can carry a gun with you, hey, more power to you. Go ahead. It's your safety. I'm looking at a non-lethal launcher. It looks like a pistol, and it shoots tear gas balls and also hard rubber balls. And it'll make people think twice. So that's on my future list. Okay, mapping, knowing where you're at. I've got my phone bracket. I use a tablet. I use a combination of Google's Maps. They're great maps. They'll always get you someplace you don't want to be. They'll also get you to really great places that you didn't know existed. Google Earth. When my best friend and I went on our bicycling trip, we bicycled in 1 year all four corners of the United States. Sounds crazy. We'd go between 35 and 70 miles a day on bicycle. Backcountry roads, freeways in a few areas, carrying everything you needed to live on. I always learned that we'd look at our map. We used adventure cycling maps. So I'd look on my map, we'd figure our route out. She carried the adventure cycling map, which had the details. I carried a state map, where I had the big picture. And we'd start the morning off, look at our route, and then I'd find my route on Google Earth. Does that road actually really exist? Come to find out, nobody did their research when they built the adventure cycling map. They just took it off of Google Map, which said there was a nice dirt road that was in good shape, shortcut, and that was how they wanted us to go. Well, when you brought it up by satellite, you found out that that was a petroleum pipeline road. It was fenced off, locked gates, and no trespassing signs. So after an hour's ride to get there to find that, that's when I started double checking all my maps. Know where you're going. I have a little satchel here. And in this satchel, I carry maps. Oh, I got a nice map of Joshua Tree, Mojave Preserve, Death Valley. These are, the yellow maps are really great detailed maps. Trails Illustrated maps. I love them. This map here, these are Tom Harris maps. They are also very good. These are waterproof maps. But you should carry maps, paper maps, of where you're going. I also have an Arizona map in there, Arizona road map, a Nevada road map, California road map. It's nice to be able to figure out where you're going. Sometimes it's nice to be able to look at a paper map and look at the big picture and see the whole mess. Since I do YouTube videos, I do a lot of exploring. I will go on my computer in the office and I will look at Google Earth, and I will take every little dirt road in an area. I'm going to go out in the Mojave Preserve here and probably this week. In the area I'm going out in, before I go out there, I take and I find through Google Earth every little dirt Jeep trail I can find. And then I zoom in and follow it, and I look for old houses, old mines, old ranches. That's how I find a lot of my stuff. Go into Death Valley, you do the same thing. Go in the back country, and then you start digging deep into it. You dig deep, very deep into it on Google Earth, and you'll find a whole lot of interesting stuff. And then you transfer what you find onto the paper map. That way, next week or 2 weeks down the road when you go out there, oh yeah, I open up my map real quick and take a look. Oh yeah, those cabins are out here. Well, that mine is over on that mountain range over there. Yeah, I think we'll go over there today. You don't have to remember. I'm 69 years old. Memory ain't the best in the world. It used to be better. So, paper maps, always good. Mastercraft seats, racing seats, they're very comfortable. They keep you very secure in your seat, so when you're on really rough trails, you bounce around a lot. I've got 3-inch lap belts, 3-inch shoulder harnesses. When you're tired, they really hold you nice and keep you secure. You don't have to worry about jostling around and hitting a big bump and hitting your head on the steering wheel or hitting your head on the roll bar. Nice. Got drink holders. Always have drink handy. If you look at that, all that is a bicycle water holder with 2 hose clamps holding it to the roll cage. I've got 2 in front and 2 in back. and it just makes for an easy place to store your drink. And I use some regular pull top drinks. Don't drink out of cans and bottles too much. A lot of places frown on bottles. So I use reusable drink containers. Now this vehicle is probably a lot heavier fixed up than most people take out. Like I said, I've had a lot of years to work on this. 1974. NP 435 super low first gear. People talk about their automatics. I know. I like my heavy old 4-speed. I can crawl over things at less than a fourth of a mile an hour. Things that people have to gas, I can crawl over with it idling. Then I can give it gas and get going as I need to. It's got a lot of rock crawler built into her. And it's fun to drive. It really is. You step on the throttle, and it's going to put you back in your seat, and you're going to enjoy yourself. Twin stick transfer case. Right down normal, 2-wheel drive high. I can put it in 2-wheel drive low. If I don't want to get out and lock the hubs and I got some rocks to go over, I might want to just put it in really low. First gear, 2-wheel drive low on the back and crawl through. If I need to lock the hubs and put it in 4-wheel drive, I can put it high range or low range 4-wheel drive. Now, I can also put this in neutral back axle, front axle engaged in low range, set the rear brakes, and do a dig turn. In other words, it'll pretty much pivot on the rear axle, the rear tire that you're turning towards. So if you're on a real narrow dirt road and you need to turn around and you got a mountain on behind you and a drop off on the edge, cutting that turning radius in half helps a lot. You can do the same thing with the putting the front axle in neutral and going to the back axles and doing a dig with them. Lock the front brakes and just let it slide. Little tricks of four-wheeling. Well, I'm going to pretty well let this video wrap up. Got all my stuff for filming in my vehicle right now. I got my drone, I got my case with my extra batteries, extra camera, all that. Got a little backpack that I carry. I'm going to hike up into a canyon to find something interesting to film. Park the car, throw the backpack on. It's got a water bladder. It's got a nice small down jacket. It's got a really warm hoodie, and it's got a pair of warm gloves. I fall and get hurt. I push help on my spot. I can put on my jacket, put on my gloves, put on my headgear, and protect my hands from really cold weather. I have a friend here that lives in this town, and when she was younger, she went out hiking. It was in the wintertime, a little bit of snow. She slipped and went down the edge of this embankment. Nobody knew where she was. And needless to say, she no longer has fingers on both hands. She got frostbite because she had no way of keeping her hands warm. So, something to think about. You want to be able to keep your hands warm. Walking sticks make it life easier. Having the air compressor, and I've got to air up my tires because I only had about 4 miles of pavement to drive home last night. So I just took it easy and didn't air up. It was cold, dark, raining, wet, blowing. And so to this morning, I'm going to go ahead now, and when I get done with this video, I'm going to make sure my jump start box is fully charged. I'm going to air up my tires again, put my truck back together, double check make sure I've got everything I need. Today's probably going to be an oil change. I've got 500 miles on my new motor. And just kind of go over everything. Because this week I'm going out to the Mojave Preserve, probably. Going to film out there or into Death Valley and film there, or both. So I want to thank everybody for watching.